Life will not hand you victories wrapped in silver trays. Life will not roll out a red carpet every time you step out of your door. If you are waiting for life to be easy, you will wait until your bones turn to dust. Because life has a way of testing, stretching, pressing every fiber of your being. But the ones who rise, the ones who endure, the ones who stand when the storm beats against their chest, those are the ones who have chosen to become mentally tough. Mental toughness is not something you inherit. It is not something gifted by circumstance. It is forged in the fire of trials, in the valley of tears, in the midnight hour when nobody is watching and your heart whispers, "I can't take it anymore." Mental toughness is when you answer that whisper with a roar, "Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Watch me." The mentally tough do not collapse under pressure. Pressure is their training ground. They do not retreat when doors slam in their faces. Every closed door becomes a chance to sharpen their determination. They do not quit because the mountain is high. They climb with blistered hands until the summit bows beneath their persistence. Becoming mentally tough means you stop letting your emotions drive your destiny. You stop letting fear write your story. You stop allowing pain to convince you that purpose has abandoned you. Mental toughness is knowing that life may bruise you. It cannot break you unless you surrender. I dare you to stand tall when everything is trying to knock you down. Dare you to look failure in the eye and declare, "This will not be the end of me." I dare you to take every setback, every betrayal, every disappointment, and turn it into the fuel that drives you forward. Because storms will come, but storms never last. Pain may visit, but pain is not permanent. And if you refuse to bow, if you refuse to quit, if you choose to become mentally tough, then no giant, no mountain, no storm, no demon in hell will ever be able to stop you. So rise up, strengthen your mind, harden your spirit. Build the kind of resilience that no wind can shake. When you have done all you can, stand. Because those who stand, those who endure, those who fight with unbreakable grit, they are the ones who win. Mental toughness is not something that falls out of the sky. It is not inherited like the color of your eyes or the shape of your face. It is not granted because life decided to smile on you. No, mental toughness is forged in the fire. It is built when the heat is turned up, when the walls close in, when the weight of life sits on your chest and you feel like you cannot breathe. Toughness is not born in comfort. It is born in conflict. It is not born in the sunshine. It is born in the storm. It is not born when the path is easy. It is born when the road is steep, rugged, almost impossible to climb. When life is smooth, when everything is working the way you want it to, you may be happy, but you are not being stretched. You may feel secure, but you are not being sharpened. The truth is, the moments that build you the most are the ones you would never choose for yourself. Nobody volunteers for heartbreak. Nobody prays for rejection. Nobody asks for failure. Yet in the furnace of disappointment, in the valley of sorrow, in the wilderness of struggle, that is where your mind is trained and your spirit becomes unshakable. Adversity is the teacher that no one invites, but it gives the lessons that cannot be forgotten. Think about it. The strongest steel is formed in the hottest fire. The sharpest diamond is created under the heaviest pressure, and the toughest minds are built in the darkest hours of life. When you are pressed, when you are crushed, when you are stretched to the point of breaking, that is the very environment where resilience is birthed. You don't even know how strong you are until strong is the only option left to you. Mental toughness comes when life throws a punch at you. And instead of staying down, you wipe the blood from your mouth and get back up again. It comes when the people you trusted walk away. You keep walking forward with tears in your eyes. It comes when you fail at something you poured your heart into. Instead of allowing that failure to define you, you decide that failure will refine you. Every scar becomes a story. Every wound becomes wisdom. Every burden becomes a bridge to the next level of strength. Too many people want the crown, but not the cross. They want victory without battle, triumph without trial, and success without sacrifice. But you cannot build a fortress of resilience on a foundation of ease. Ease will spoil you. Adversity will shape you. Ease will lull you to sleep, but adversity will wake you up. Ease will whisper that you are fine the way you are. Adversity will demand that you dig deeper, stretch further, and grow stronger. You see, life has a way of using adversity to introduce you to yourself. Everything is taken away when plans collapse, when dreams are delayed. You find out whether your confidence was in circumstances or whether it was in something unshakable within you. Some people collapse under the weight of trouble because they built their lives on shallow ground. Others rise from the ashes because their roots go deep. Adversity reveals who is who. It shows you what you are made of. It exposes the difference between surface strength and soul strength. Let me tell you this, adversity is not your enemy. It feels like an enemy. It feels like a thief. It feels like it has come to destroy you. But often it has come to deliver you into your greater self. Adversity is the gym where your mind is trained. Every obstacle is a weight that builds your mental muscle. Every difficulty is resistance that strengthens your endurance. Just as the athlete cannot grow without strain, you cannot grow without struggle. If you want a strong mind, you must be willing to push against the heavy load of life. There will be days when you are weary, when you feel like life has drained every drop of strength from your bones. There will be nights when you cry until there are no tears left. There will be moments when you whisper to yourself, I cannot take this anymore. And yet, somehow you do. Somehow you rise. Somehow you endure. In that very moment, you are becoming tougher, stronger, unshakable. Mental toughness is not the absence of pain. It is the decision to keep moving in spite of pain. It is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to face fear head on. It is not pretending that life is easy. It is choosing to be stronger than the hardship that comes against you. The strongest people are not those who have never known suffering. The strongest people are those who have stared suffering in the face and decided, you will not have the last word over me. They are the ones who have been rejected but still believe in love. They are the ones who have failed but still chase after purpose. They are the ones who have been wounded but still get back into the fight. Their strength is not a product of luck. It is a product of their ability to transform adversity into power. Adversity will strip away illusions. It will tear off the masks. It will remove the false supports you leaned on, and though it hurts, it is also liberating. Because once you have survived what should have broken you, you realize you are more powerful than you ever imagined. You realize that people's opinions cannot define you. You realize that setbacks cannot stop you. You realize that pain is temporary, but strength is eternal. That is why some of the greatest leaders, the most inspiring voices, the most impactful human beings on this planet all have one thing in common. They were forged in adversity. They didn't have a smooth road. They didn't have everything handed to them. They went through the fire. Fire made them gold. They went through the storm, and the storm taught them how to navigate life. They went through betrayal, and betrayal sharpened their wisdom. They went through loss, and loss gave them a deeper appreciation for life. So if you are in a season of adversity right now, do not despise it. Do not curse it. Do not run from it. Instead, lean into it, learn from it, let it shape you. Because the very thing that feels like it came to destroy you may actually be the thing that is equipping you. The struggle is not there to stop you. It is there to strengthen you. The hardship is not there to break you, it is there to build you. Yes, adversity is painful. Yes, adversity is uncomfortable. Adversity is also purposeful. And if you endure, if you press on, if you refuse to quit, you will rise out of it with a mind like steel, with a spirit like fire, with a heart that cannot be shaken. That is the gift of adversity. That is the reward of endurance. That is the meaning of mental toughness. It is forged not in the calm, but in the chaos. Pressure, nobody likes it, yet everybody faces it. Pressure shows up uninvited, pressing down on your shoulders, tightening your chest, making you wonder if you can even take one more step. Pressure comes in the form of responsibilities you didn't expect, bills you cannot escape, deadlines that won't move, relationships that test your patience, and dreams that feel too heavy for your hands. And yet, what if I told you that pressure is not your enemy? What if I told you that pressure is not designed to destroy you, but to prepare you? See, diamonds are not made in comfort. They are made under pressure. Coal, black and ordinary, is transformed into something brilliant, something priceless, only when immense pressure is applied. Without the crushing weight, the coal stays coal. But with pressure, it becomes a diamond. The same is true for you. Without pressure, you will never know the strength that lies inside you. Pressure, you will never see the brilliance of your potential. Without pressure, your gifts remain unpolished. Your character remains untested. Your resilience remains undeveloped. Pressure is the furnace that prepares you for greatness. Most people run from pressure. They see it as a punishment, as an inconvenience, as something unfair. They cry out, "Why me? Why now? Why this?" But what if the why is because you are being prepared? What if the weight you feel is not a curse, but a classroom? What if the heaviness on your shoulders is building the very strength you will need for your future? Pressure does not come to ruin you. It comes to ready you. Think about the athlete in training. No champion is crowned without sweat. No runner wins by jogging in comfort. The athlete subjects themselves to pressure, lifting weights, running drills, pushing their body to exhaustion, not because they enjoy pain, but because they know that pressure produces preparation. The resistance they face in practice equips them for the real battle on the field. Without training, they would collapse under competition. Without pressure, they would not be prepared for victory. The same is true in life. You cannot pray for success and run from stress. You cannot ask for strength and then despise the very situations that demand you to be strong. You cannot want a platform but reject the process. Pressure is not a barrier to your destiny. It is the bridge that takes you there. Every trial you are enduring, every load you are carrying, every storm you are walking through is preparation for the greater future waiting for you. Pressure reveals potential. You never know how much capacity you have until you are stretched. You never know how much you can endure until you are tested. Some of the very situations you thought would break you are actually proven that you are stronger than you imagined. You thought you would collapse, but you didn't. You thought you would quit, but you pressed on. And every time you endured pressure, you were being prepared for the next level of your life. Here's the truth. Preparation is never comfortable. Preparation is often lonely, often misunderstood, often painful. Just like the seed in the ground experiences the pressure of dirt, darkness, and weight before it breaks through the soil, you too will feel buried at times. Being buried is not the same as being dead. Sometimes you are not buried, you are planted, and the pressure of the soil is not suffocating you. It is positioning you for growth. The dirt is not your end, it is your beginning. When you feel pressure, it is a sign that something greater is being produced in you. Think about childbirth. The baby cannot come forth without pressure. It is the contraction, the strain, the force that brings life into the world. The mother endures pain because she knows the pressure is producing something precious. So it is with your dreams, your calling, your destiny. The contractions of pressure in your life are not random. They are pushing something greater out of you. Pressure also sharpens focus. When life is easy, we get distracted, lazy, and complacent. But when pressure mounts, you learn to cut off the unnecessary, to focus on what truly matters, to streamline your energy towards survival and success. Pressure forces you to prioritize. It forces you to decide what's worth carrying and what's worth dropping. It eliminates the trivial and highlights the essential. And in that sharpening, you become more prepared, more disciplined, more effective. Yes, pressure hurts. It is heavy. It will sometimes bring you to tears. Tears do not mean you are weak. Tears mean the process is real. Tears mean the preparation is working. Do not despise your tears. They are watering the ground of your growth. The fact that you feel pressure is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that something greater is being demanded from you. The more valuable the destiny, the greater the pressure of preparation. If you are feeling extraordinary pressure, it is because you are being prepared for an extraordinary purpose. Some people live with little pressure because they are not destined for much. But those called to more, those destined to carry weight, those chosen to impact generations, they will feel the squeeze. They will feel the strain. They will walk through seasons that make them question if they can survive. But in the end, they will discover that the pressure was not killing them. It was equipping them. Do not quit in the middle of pressure. Do not love it or before the preparation is complete. If you walk away too soon, you rob yourself of the strength you were supposed to gain. You short-circuit the process. Just as bread must stay in the oven long enough to rise, you must endure long enough to become. Pressure without quitting produces power. Preparation without escape produces strength. And one day, when the pressure lifts, when the season shifts, when you step into the opportunities that you once only dreamed of, you will look back and realize that the very weight you hated was the reason you can now stand tall. You will see that the nights you thought would kill you were the nights that built you. You will see that the pressure that once scared you became the preparation that secured you. So the next time you feel the walls closing in, the next time the burden feels unbearable, the next time you wonder if you can keep going, remember this pressure is not punishment. It is preparation. Crushing is creating clarity. The pressing is producing power. The heaviness is shaping resilience. Embrace the pressure. Carry it with courage. Let it shape you, mold you, prepare you. Because when the preparation is complete, when the diamond has formed, when the seed has broken through, when the dream is birthed, then you will understand why the pressure was necessary. You will not curse it, you will thank it. For pressure was never there to break you, it was always there to build you. One of the greatest battles you will ever fight is not with people, not with circumstances, not with systems. It is with your own emotions. Your emotions are powerful. They are strong enough to give you courage, but also strong enough to paralyze you. They are capable of fueling your progress, but also capable of sabotaging your future. If you do not master your emotions will master you. And once they have the driver's seat of your life, they will steer you into places you never intended to go. Think about how many lives have been destroyed not because of lack of talent, not because of lack of opportunity, but because of lack of control. Anger has ruined marriages, jealousy has broken friendship, fear has killed dreams before they were even born. Pride has blinded people to wisdom. Despair has made people quit just before their breakthrough. Emotions, when left unchecked, are like wild horses, powerful, beautiful, but dangerous if they are not tamed. They can either carry you forward to greatness or throw you to the ground. Controlling your emotions does not mean ignoring them. It does not mean pretending that you don't feel. It does not mean suppressing every tear, frustration, every desire. Emotions are real and they are human. To feel is not weakness. To deny feeling altogether is unnatural. But wisdom says, feel it, acknowledge it, but don't let it rule you. You may not always control how you feel, but you can always control how you respond. Your emotions are like visitors. They will knock at the door of your heart. Anger will come knocking. Fear will come knocking. Doubt will come knocking. Sadness will come knocking. You cannot stop them from showing up, but you can decide whether you open the door and let them move in, or whether you allow them to pass by without setting up residence. Too many people have given permanent residence to emotions that were only meant to visit for a moment. They build a home for anger. They make a bed for fear. They decorate the walls for worry. And then they wonder why their lives feel so chaotic. It's because they gave power to emotions that were meant to be managed, not mastered. When you let emotions drive your decisions, you will always live a life of instability. One day you are high, the next day you are low. One day you believe in yourself, the next day you doubt everything. One day you're motivated, the next day you're defeated. That is the danger of being led by emotions. They change like the weather. And if your destiny is tied to something as unpredictable as your feelings, then your destiny will be unstable. Control means discipline. It means telling your emotions you can sit in the car, but you cannot touch the wheel. You may feel fear, but you do not let fear choose your path. You may feel anger, but you do not let anger control your words. You may feel despair, but you do not let despair convince you to quit. Emotions are passengers, not drivers. They can accompany you, but they cannot command you. Controlling emotions requires perspective. Many times what you feel in the moment is not the truth. It is only a temporary perception. You may feel like you're a failure after one mistake, but that is not truth. You may feel abandoned when someone leaves, but that does not mean you are alone. You may feel like giving up because it hurts, but that does not mean your story is over. if you live by feelings alone. You will accept lies as truth and let them shape your actions. But when you learn to pause, to breathe, to reflect, to separate emotion from reality, you gain the power to respond with wisdom instead of reaction. It is in the heat of the moment when emotions roar the loudest. That's why self-control is hardest when it is most necessary. Anyone can be calm when life is calm. But when someone insults you, when betrayal pierces your heart, when opportunity slips away, when fear whispers that you're not enough, that is when your strength is tested. And it is in those moments that you must learn to step back from the storm in your mind and choose response over reaction. Greatness requires mastery over the emotional self. The leaders who endure, the builders who succeed, the warriors who conquer are not those who never feel, those who refuse to let feelings dictate their choices. History is full of stories where one rash decision in anger destroyed what years of patience built. One emotional collapse in fear robbed someone of a destiny that was within reach. If you do not control your emotions will control your destiny. Do not confuse control with coldness. To control emotions does not mean to become heartless. It means you harness them. Just like fire uncontrolled burns down forests. Controlled, it powers cities. Your anger controlled can become passion for justice. Your sadness controlled can become compassion for others. Your fear controlled can become wisdom and caution. Your joy controlled can become fuel for resilience. Emotions are not your enemy. They are your energy, but only when mastered. The truth is, emotions are signals, not commands. Anger may signal that something is wrong, but it should not command you to destroy. Fear may signal danger, but it should not command you to surrender. Sadness may signal loss, but it should not command you to give up hope. Treat your emotions like indicators on a dashboard. They inform you. They do not drive the car. Many people spend their lives saying, "That's just how I felt." But feelings are not an excuse for destructive actions. You may feel like quitting, but quitting may cost you everything. You may feel like lashing out. One word spoken in anger can destroy relationships that took years to build. You may feel like you're worthless. Living according to that lie will waste the treasure inside you. You cannot trust every feeling because feelings are temporary, but destiny is eternal. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, wisdom over reaction, stability over chaos, you are strengthening your mental toughness. You are training your emotions to follow, not lead. Over time, your emotions will no longer be wild horses dragging you wherever they want. They will become trained horses carrying you to your destination. That is the difference between bondage and mastery. The more control you gain, the free you become. Because no one is truly free who is enslaved by their emotions. No one is truly strong who collapses under the weight of their own feelings. No one can lead, build, or endure if they are tossed about by every wave of emotion. But when you control your emotions, you live above them instead of beneath them. You decide instead of being dictated to. You rule instead of being ruled. So the next time your emotions flare up, pause. When fear rises, breathe. When anger burns, wait. When despair whispers, challenge it. When joy comes, embrace it. But don't lose yourself in it. Live with emotion, but live with mastery. Because the one who controls their emotions controls their destiny. Life has a way of interrupting our plans. You start with excitement. You build with determination, you set your sights on the goal ahead, and then suddenly something happens. The deal falls through, the door closes, the relationship breaks, the opportunity vanishes, you stumble, you fall, and you find yourself looking at the broken pieces of what you thought would be a straight path to success. That is what we call a setback. It is the unexpected delay, the painful interruption, the detour that makes you wonder if your dream has died. But hear this clearly, a setback is not the end. Just because you stumbled does not mean you are finished. Just because you failed once does not mean you are a failure. Just because the plan didn't unfold the way you expected doesn't mean the story is over. A setback is not a full stop. It is a comma. It is a pause, a redirection, a lesson in disguise. If you allow it, a setback will not bury you, it will build you. Too many people give up at the first sign of opposition. They hit a wall and assume it's the end of the road. They face rejection and believe they are unworthy, taste failure and convince themselves they will never succeed. But the truth is, setbacks are woven into the journey of every person who has ever accomplished anything worthwhile. There is no success story without chapters of struggle. There is no triumph without trials. There is no victory without valleys. Think of the seed planted in the soil. From the outside, looks as if nothing is happening. In fact, it looks buried, hidden, forgotten. But underground, beneath the dirt, something is stirring. Roots are forming. Life is expanding. Potential is being unlocked. To the seed, the soil may feel like a setback. But in reality, it is not the end of the seed story. It is the beginning. What looks like burial is preparation for breakthrough. What looks like death is the process of life unfolding. Setbacks often carry lessons that success cannot teach. Success is a wonderful teacher. It rarely asks hard questions. Failure, on the other hand, will sit you down and demand that you examine yourself. Rejection will challenge your motives. Delay will test your patience. Loss will deepen your appreciation for what truly matters. Every setback carries wisdom. If you are willing to lean into it instead of running from it, some of the greatest comebacks in history were birthed out of crushing setbacks. People who lost everything yet rebuilt stronger. People who were told no again and again, yet kept knocking until a door opened. People who were written off, counted out, laughed at, and still rose to prove everyone wrong. What separated them from those who quit? One simple thing: they understood that a setback is not the end. They refused to let failure have the final word. A setback is often just a setup for something greater. The job you didn't get might prepare you for a career you never imagined. The relationship that ended might make room for a love that will heal you instead of hurt you. Dream that was delayed might open doors you would have never noticed if everything had gone according to your plan. Life has a way of using setbacks as redirections. What feels like rejection may actually be protection. Feels like the end may actually be the beginning of a better chapter. But in the moment, it rarely feels that way. In the moment, setback feels like heartbreak. It feels like wasted time, wasted energy, wasted effort. You pour yourself into something and it collapses. You risk everything and it fails. That pain is real and it cannot be denied. But even in the pain, you must remember pain is not permanent and failure is not final. If you have breath in your lungs, you still have another chance. If you can rise from the ground, you can rise from the setback. Setbacks are not meant to stop you. They are meant to strengthen you. When you lift weights, the resistance tears your muscles so they can rebuild stronger. You face setbacks, the resistance tears your assumptions, your pride, your illusions, so you can rebuild wiser, tougher, more resilient. You will never know the depth of your resilience until you face something that tests it. You will never know the strength of your determination until life knocks you down and you choose to stand up again. Do not let the disappointment of today blind you to the possibilities of tomorrow. What you lost does not define what you can gain. What broke does not dictate what can be built. What ended does not erase what is still to come. Too often we allow temporary setbacks to produce permanent surrender. We stop dreaming, we stop trying, we stop moving forward. And in doing so, give the setback more power than it deserves. You must shift your perspective. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Ask, what can this teach me? What can this build in me? What can this prepare me for? That perspective turns a stumbling block into a stepping stone. That perspective transforms defeat into development. That perspective allows you to walk out of the ashes carrying wisdom, strength, and renewed purpose. Every great invention, every powerful movement, every extraordinary achievement was built on the back of setbacks. Light was discovered through thousands of failed attempts. Freedom was fought for through repeated defeats. Progress was born through resistance, opposition, countless obstacles. The path to greatness is paved with setbacks. The question is not whether you will face them. The question is whether you will rise from them. When you fall, rise. When you are delayed, wait with faith. When you are rejected, believe in your worth. When doors close, knock again or build a new door. Refuse to let the story end in the middle of the struggle. Refuse to give failure the final sentence. Refuse to let a setback write your obituary, when in fact it was only meant to write your testimony. Setbacks will visit every life, but they do not have to define every life. You hold the pen. You decide whether the chapter ends in despair or whether it becomes the turning point toward destiny. And if you keep writing, if you keep fighting, if you keep believing, you will one day look back and say, that setback was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because without it, not have discovered my strength. Without it, I would not have found my purpose. Without it, not be who I am today. So do not fear the setbacks. Do not curse them. Do not surrender to them. Stand up in the face of disappointment and declare, this is not the end of me. This is not the end of my dream. This is not the end of my story. I may have been knocked down, but I am not knocked out. I may have been delayed, but I am not denied. I may have faced failure, but failure will not finish me. Life will test you. It will push you. It will stretch you until you feel like you have nothing left. The winds of adversity will howl against your house. The storms of disappointment will crash upon your life. The earthquakes of uncertainty will shake the very ground you stand on. And in those moments, everything feels unstable. When nothing seems secure, when your strength is almost gone, you must make a choice. Will you fall or will you stand? Will you break or will you bend and return stronger? Will you crumble under the weight of the storm or will you plant your feet and declare, I will not be moved? To stand unshaken does not mean you don't feel the wind. It does not mean you don't hear the thunder. It does not mean you are unaware of the storm swirling around you. It means that despite the chaos, you refuse to surrender your position. It means that though you may bend, you will not break. It means that though the waves crash against you, you will not let them sweep you away. To stand unshaken is to embody resilience in its purest form. The strongest trees are not those that never face storms, but those that stand firm through countless seasons of wind and rain. Their roots run deep, deeper than the surface, gripping the soil with a strength that cannot be easily pulled up. The same is true for you. If your roots are shallow, the storm will topple you. If your convictions are weak, the pressure will crush you. If your mind is fragile, the shaking will shatter you. But if your roots run deep into faith, into purpose, into resilience, then no matter how fierce the storm, you will stand unshaken. Standing unshaken is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to stand in spite of fear. It is not the absence of pain. It is the determination to keep moving through pain. It is not pretending the storm is not real. It is refusing to let the storm dictate your destiny. Too many people collapse at the first sign of resistance because they thought the journey would be easy. They expected progress without opposition, advancement without adversity, elevation without endurance. But strength is proven in resistance, not in ease. The shaking seasons of life are not designed to destroy you. They are designed to reveal what is solid and what is fragile. When the ground shakes, weak foundations crumble, but strong foundations remain. When the storm comes, flimsy structures fall, but fortified ones stand. The shaking is a test, not of whether storms exist, but of whether you are built to withstand them. And the truth is, you are stronger than you think. You are tougher than you know. You are more resilient than the storm that has come against you. Standing unshaken requires a mindset that refuses to quit. It requires a decision deep in your soul that says, I may be pressed, but I will not be crushed. I may be struck down, but I will not stay down. I may be weary, but I will not stop moving. That mindset becomes your anchor in the storm. It is the voice inside that whispers, hold on, endure. The storm will pass, but I will remain. When you stand unshaken, you send a message not just to yourself, but to everything around you. You tell fear, you will not have me. You tell despair, you will not own me. You tell doubt, you will not control me. You tell the storm, you may rage, you will not reign. There is a power in standing. There is authority in refusing to bow. There is victory in enduring the shaking without losing your ground. And make no mistake, storms will come. Life will not always be calm seas and sunny skies. There will be betrayals that cut deep, losses that leave scars, delays that frustrate, failures that sting. But each storm you survive proves your strength. Each battle you endure sharpens your character. Each shaking you withstand deepens your roots. What tried to break you ends up building you. What tried to silence you ends up shaping your voice. What tried to bury you ends up planting you. Standing unshaken is also about vision. all you see is the storm, you will think the storm is endless. But if you lift your eyes and fix them on the horizon, you will remember that storms do not last forever. Night gives way to morning. Winter gives way to spring. Pain gives way to healing. Darkness gives way to light. What you are facing right now is not permanent. It is passing. But if you fall in the middle of it, you may never see the other side. That is why you must stand. That is why you must endure. That is why you must refuse to quit. There is a kind of strength that only comes from standing, not from running, not from retreating, not from hiding, but from standing even when your legs tremble, even when your heart is heavy, even when your mind is weary. Each second you remain standing is proof that you are stronger than what came against you. And every time you choose to stand again after being knocked down, you grow more unshakable than before. You may feel small compared to the storm, but storms end. Winds die down, rain runs out, thunder fades. The storm has an expiration date, but your strength, your resilience, your ability to endure, that has no expiration. What you build by standing unshaken will outlast every storm. So stand tall, stand firm, stand rooted in conviction and faith and purpose. Refuse to bow to fear. Refuse to collapse under pressure. Refuse to let circumstances define you. Because when the dust settles, when the winds calm, when the shaking stops, it will not be the storm that is remembered. It will be your strength. It will be the fact that you stood when others fell. It will be the testimony that nothing could move you from your ground. Standing unshaken is not just about surviving. It is about thriving. It is about turning storms into stepping stones. It is about letting the shaking refine you instead of ruin you. It is about rising from every challenge stronger than before. It is about declaring with your life that no matter what comes against you, you will not be moved. So when the storms rage, stand. When fear whispers, stand. When doubt screams, stand. When pain lingers, stand. Stand with courage. Stand with conviction. Stand with faith. Stand unshaken. Because storms will pass, but strength will remain. The winds will fade, but your resilience will endure. The shaking will stop. The unshakable soul will rise to tell the story of victory.